Good morning, everybody. I don't know how many days I've been on the road. It doesn't really matter. But here in Audi Camp, where we spent the night, Jeremy has arrived. We spent some time working on the Land Cruiser. There was a problem with the fuel filtration system, so we swapped out a fuel. I think I picked up some bad fuel. A warm welcome to you. This is the third and final part of a 2024 expedition in the Land Cruiser. We purchased in 2023, refurbished it, and took it on an epic adventure in southern Africa. We are about to, at this stage, enter Namibia. And you're seeing it at this time in preparation for our 2025 expedition in the same Land Cruiser, where we are going to go again to Botswana, but this time to Zimbabwe. You need to tell YouTube, if you're interested in seeing that show, that you're interested in that show. And the way you do that is you click that subscribe button and also the notifications bell. If you don't do that, YouTube doesn't know that you're interested in this series. Let's go to it.
There's no water here. We need to just...
They're bakkie.
A bakkie, possibly. So basically...
It doesn't look like water's in it.
No, it doesn't. When you look at it like this, it's all clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this and put it back.
I'd rather not use that unless
Yes.
we absolutely have to.
Yeah. So I'm just interested to see how it works at the bottom here, because I think this may just screw onto this.
This is just precautionary. The symptom was that on a very rough road, corrugated road, the fuel warning light would flash on the dashboard. So not knowing if it was in fact fuel contamination, or in this case I think it might actually be an electrical issue. I'd rather not take the chance.
It's very strange that there's a beeping noise.
It's an interesting thing though. I am so used to driving quite new Land Cruisers. My Land Rovers, well my Range Rover, was old and quite worn out. So I had to spend a lot of time paying attention to the car, noises, vibrations, and more thorough daily checks than I did when I started driving Land Cruisers. They were all far newer, so I would have to spend less time, mental time, thinking about the car and how it was performing. Now, with such an old machine, I'm back to where I was. I've got to pay more attention to keeping this thing running reliably. And here comes Jeremy. Jeremy will be driving in his own vehicle. It's a rental. It is from a company called Safari Drive.
It's been a while since I've been in one of these. I like it.
Because our plans have changed, I've found somebody with a great deal of local knowledge. A good time to sit with them and get some advice.
Yeah, Andrew's just getting diesel right now for his cruiser. So after that, I think shopping is done. Obviously not a lot of selection. So we'll have some interesting sandwiches, pasta. We have some really nice shortbread to go with coffee. So it's going to be we're going to be just fine. We've got plenty of stuff.
Just tell me where you want me.
Heading east, and it's not long before we encounter the elephant herd that I saw 4 or 5 days ago. Now, I don't have my hubs locked, so if I get stuck here, I'm going to have a problem. So I'm going to reverse a little bit. But you can see Jeremy's there, he's parked, and he's going to definitely be getting pictures and things. But I'm going to get out of the way because this one elephant is basically looking me in and saying, I'm not that happy with you. So if I get stuck here, I could cause myself a problem, and I don't want to get out. So that's quite cool.
Let me get that. That'll be good. Little guy over here, really little, right behind this cow, and he's nursing, I think.
a main arterial road through a country, and this at the side of the road. Botswana is one of very, very few countries where this still happens. You'll miss this if you fly into camps and then fly into another camp and then fly into another camp. And I keep going on and on about it, but it's true. You've probably realized this trip so far is part of my celebration of 40 years of overland travel. It was and this is an epic shot that I remember filming. It was right here between Nata and Mirab in 1988. I was driving my Range Rover and Gwyn was filming at this very spot. The road was as rough as can be. I used to get to Maun and pull out my pop riveter and rivet the Range Rover's panels back onto it. And at this particular point, the floods had crossed the road. That was how many? That's 1988. Yeah.
Pretty cool, actually.
We have arrived at our overnight stop. Nata Sanctuary has some camping spots. Unfortunately, they're quite close to the main road, but perfect really for us on our route. Yeah, you're pretty good, but you're a bit down on the back.
I am down on the back.
I can give you some max tracks to lift yourself up.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
And I need to come back about to here because I'm up at the front.
Okay.
And tomorrow morning we'll go and drive on the
I'll go back
pans
to
to see if there is any wildlife or bird life in the area. So from now on, Jeremy and I, crazy about photography, we love shooting still pictures, and all our still pictures are actually available on our galleries for, not just for downloading, I'm talking about art pictures in your bedroom, living room, spacecraft or submarine, whatever. We're going to tell you stories. I'm a video storyteller and Jeremy is a still photographer. I'm going to put this all together and then tell stories behind some of our best pictures in the 3 weeks we have ahead of us. How's that? Is that David Attenborough kind of? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to sync. End sync. We have had mixed fortunes today when it comes to camping. We went to Bain's Baobabs so we could go and photograph the trees, but unfortunately the campsites were all taken. There are only 3 at the Baobabs themselves. So we've come to Nata Sanctuary. And Nata Sanctuary is a lovely place, but not the great time of year because apparently there's no water in the lagoon and it's rather close to the main road, so we're going to have to put up with a bit of noise tonight. Can't win them all. What are we eating today?
At some point we're going to have sausages, and we're purposely cooking them very, very slowly so they're nice and smoky. We're not purposely cooking them slowly, we're just cooking them slowly because we put them above the flame, but it's actually working pretty well.
And we don't know how to cook anything.
No. Good morning. We have made it to Nata Sanctuary last night. I think I might have already said that, and we're going to go see if there's anything on the pan. So,
the campsite's not wonderful. There wasn't any hot water and it's a bit close to the road, but it's a perfect place to explore the northern portion of Pan.
cost was about 450 pula, which is about a 7-to-1 to the dollar. So I'll do the math, it doesn't really matter what it is, but $70 or whatever, both of us, which included camping, which included park entrance fee, and included getting to the pan. And I'll let Andrew figure out where he wants to take us.
During most of the morning, my engine is making a squeaking sound, a clear indication to me that the air conditioning belt is slipping. The high frequency sound scares the animals. No! I need a short socket. The air conditioning has stopped working, but I know why. The idler pulley is tensioner is loose, so I need to crank it up. So if I remember the way to do it, if my mind serves me well, you do it like this. There you go. Is that tight? Is that too tight? Jeremy, tell me if you think that's too tight.
I think that feels pretty good.
See, if you over-tension it, it just runs the bearing.
It does. So it feels tighter than it was.
But that there has got a little bit of flex still on it. I reckon it's about right. Ouch. Nata Sanctuary has a lookout post located on the edge of Pan. The water that the wildebeest we're enjoying is actually just rainwater. When this area floods, it does so as a result of overflow from the Okavango, and it doesn't happen every year. And when it does, flamingos and pelicans arrive in their thousands. So if you can imagine what this might look like, actually you don't have to imagine. When it floods, it looks like this. I'm in Botswana. Yes, this is Botswana. High rainfall months ago in Angola means that the largest salt pan in the world is a huge expanse of water. I'm here looking for magic outside of the expensive and often crowded national parks. It's day 10, and early morning we're heading for the Chobe National Park near Kasane, which, as it happens to be, is exactly where we will be going. We're heading north towards Kasane and we'll be finding a wild camp somewhere close to the Zimbabwe border.
There's a pair of falcon here. Without a book, I cannot be sure what they are. I think they are Lana falcon, but I cannot be sure in these trees here.
It's interesting when you're, a park here is not like you're going, you don't really know when you're in a park when you're not, except for a sign somewhere. But what's interesting is when you're driving down the road and the animal you see is a giraffe, which we just passed one. And we're trying to get to a watering hole to stay the night. We want to get there fairly early to get set up and get some good photography times. But driving down the road, there's a giraffe on the side of the road, and there's an elephant just recently on the side of the road. So we're already seeing elephant. We saw ostrich and wildebeest today, and some other animals. But just the brain weirdness that goes along with seeing something like that along the side of the road in their own habitat, and you're not, it's not in a controlled environment. It's not a zoo. It's not behind a gate. It's just they're just having lunch by the road. It's just a weird reality.
Taking a quick break. We've been on the road for almost 2 hours, and we found the first shady spot and a little friendly kitty cat. Well,
We just
So that is a place we could go camping. Touch of Africa Safari Lodge is an option for us if we don't want to wild camp.
Yeah, I just think we just go find out what it looks like out here. We've got a nice spot. It'd be nice to be out away from folks.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to continue. It's not. I thought it might be that turn off, but it's not. I'll find it.
we are now on a narrow bush track heading east towards the Zimbabwe border. there is a waterhole on this track. I think, but I'm not sure, that it's the same waterhole that I have visited twice before, and in fact camped here twice as well. Taking it very carefully and very slowly, mainly because the Mapani branches and things are very quick to make a hole in one's tyre. So it's not the place that I thought it was. It's far twistier, and there appears to be a pan at the end of the road in about a kilometre's time. So there is a fresh tyre track, but I don't know how fresh. It hasn't rained for a while, so there's a good chance that, well, 50-50 there'll be nobody else here.
When you don't have an elephant, you just move trees out of the way yourself. That's what we do. Anyway.
Handy guy to have around. Hoping to see a pan and a clearing.
I think it's a good sign the tree wasn't moved, because maybe that means that nobody's here. It also means nobody's been here for a while, which is also good. There's a really good chance, as we're driving, that some kind of critter is gonna come out in front of us and cross the road. Wouldn't be odd to see a giraffe or an elephant cross the road.
The opening here. Don't know if there's any water. There is water. There is water, and there's a place we can set up camp, and there's nobody else around. This is fantastic.
This is the what? Oh, this is. Look at this, man. Ooh. So we've got nobody here and a watering hole with it's 4:34, which means everybody's gonna come for dinner pretty soon. How good is this?
How good is this indeed?
Oh, so is it cut line back to the main road, you think?
This is the border inspection road.
Oh, really?
The Zimbabwe border is not far that way.
Ah. So
Elephant dung everywhere. So we should find a place to park
not
closer than this.
Huh?
Not closer than this.
Yeah.
Of course, an alternative would be amongst these trees. In this area here. But I think we should park within view of the waterhole, so if animals do come down, we'll get to see them. I'm looking for animal prints. Very obviously elephant. That there is perfect elephant print there. And he tilted it as he walked. He made that little mound. That's antelope. I'm actually looking for predators. Predator prints. I'm not seeing any. Doesn't mean that they're not here. I'm not this good at that good at this. I'm by no means can I call myself a tracker.
Really good.
Nice spot. Nice spot. Just close enough to piss off some elephants if they come and drink. Oh, that'll be an early morning shot. Trees, sunrise. Epic. And I've got the travel buddy on. Hot water if you want a shower. All running.
Yeah, I could just leave the slope. I'll pull up on the track from there. Max Tracks, not just for putting on Jeeps in the US.
Those are quite useful things, aren't they?
You can do all kinds of stuff with them. And you actually can use them in Africa. Not that anybody in the US would know that, but they're actually useful.
I just wanted to get it out of. That's fine. It's very dry anyway, so.
We'll find a broom. I'll go get a branch. Thank you for doing that.
Spades, not
Yeah.
just for recovery.
I'm glad I brought you again.
What do you think of campsite? Nice, eh?
Hey, good
Nice
job.
campsite.
Hmm.
Could stay here the whole week.
We could.
We could. We won't, but we could. You know, I just noticed there are some posts in the bush and a road. That is the Zimbabwe border. So when you go tonight to go and do your nightly constitutionals, walk that way. Otherwise we might have gunfire and the other noises.
I mean, that would be literally taking a crap on Zimbabwe.
We don't want to do that. I quite like Zimbabwe.
I do too, actually. That's why we'll go that way.
Yeah, we go this way. That's good, yeah. Let's not and say we didn't. This moment, right now, is why we go overlanding. Certainly why I do it. Wild camping in the eastern side of northern Botswana. We have Hwange National Park on that side of us. The Zimbabwe border, not 100 meters from us. We are in Botswana, and towards the west is the Chobe National Park. There is a reasonable chance that we will have animals visit the camp tonight. That's not, all of that is not important. What's important is that I'm here with a very close friend. The two of us are spending real quality time together, where there's no mobile signal. We cannot be interrupted. We just have this beautiful spot to enjoy and time to enjoy. And as I get older, I realize that the number of years I have left doing this is finite. And because of that, never before in my life have I lived in the moment as I do actually since I turned 60. This is why we go overlanding. This is the moon rising over our waterhole. It really is spectacular. I am waking up next to a waterhole while wild camping in northeastern Botswana. It's called a sunrise. In most places it's called a sunrise. If you're in the city, it's called, oh, damn it, it's another day. You got enough cameras on your window there?
I had 3, and I thought, well, that was a bit ridiculous, so I just settled for 2.
We have entered the Chobe National Park, not far outside Kasane. We are camped out just outside Kasane, and we're coming in for a day visit, and we're going to visit the fabled Chobe River to see if we can see any animals. This is a very cool place. Been here several times before, never disappoints. And it is nice to have a chauffeur. Trouble is, he's going to always park it so the animal's on his side of the car. Yeah, this is a problem.
Small sacrifices. Got him.
Established in 1967, the Chobe National Park measures over 11,000 square kilometres.
Look at that. Oh. Should I let him go? Or should I just move?
Just put it in gear.
It's in gear.
They're not unhappy about cars.
No, they're so used to it though, right? I mean, they must really be okay with it.
While it's known for its large herds of buffalo and elephant, it is most famous for this riverfront, when every evening the game comes down to water itself in the blue Chobe. I've actually lost count of how many times I've been here, but my very first visit was in 1975 with my parents and brother.
And here I am, once again, in real Africa. I'm walking now, I'm not far from the banks of the Chobe River. This time of the year, the Chobe River is completely flooded out, and as I'm looking now I can see nothing but water stretching right over there to some trees. And the continuous sounds of familiar birds from the last trip past the Okavango swamp. This road we're travelling along now is most of it's unpassable by two-wheel drive vehicles. It's very flat here.
So what we're going to do now is we're just actually going to park off next to the river. We could go driving around and looking for other animals, but if we sit still, hopefully animals will come towards us. When the sun sets, it'll be over the water, so it'll be spectacular. There's just as much chance that animals will be crossing the river, coming in for their evening water here as anywhere else. But if we park here, it means that none of the other vehicles can block us and drive in front of us and stop our view. So we decided we're just going to sit and park off. It is exactly 50 years ago this month that I started my career in filming overland exploration and wild animals, and it started right here on the banks of the Chobe River.
Just a small report from our camping site at Serendella. An elephant has entered the site. He's about 75 to 100 yards away from the tent, and he's really massive. And he's slowly moving forward, hiding himself behind some bushes. Just taking some film record here. And here are some natural sounds of the campfire at sunset. I beg your pardon.
That was just the tail end of a line light. Just about to have tea. The moon's just rising on the in the east, I think it is.
Complete full moon.
Full moon, beautiful moon. Sun's going down at the end of the river in the west. Gorgeous evening. With a baboon just around the back I can see of the tent. Sound effects in a minute of my opening this line lager.
I'll open for you.
Slightly, righto.
Yeah.
Clink, clink, clink.
Slightly warm.
Clink, clink, clink. Clink, 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 clink. Bottle opener being applied to the top half.
You're not doing it properly.
Come on, hurry up, Martin. I'm getting thirsty as the time.
Talk about up close and personal. And the little guy's coming. Here's your video, the whole family. Whole family. Oh, these twins are cute.
What do you reckon about that little experience? Did we do the right thing?
I think we did. I completely doubted you, though. You just hold your focus button down, it'll stay on it. It'll stay, even if it's in a white box in video, it means it's in focus. I use the AF on button for my focus now, and it lets me hold it while I'm taking pictures in video and stills.
Well, that's kind of it for our afternoon shooting. It's 6 o'clock and we have to get back to the gate, to the park that closes in half an hour. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Till next time. Bye-bye, little one. Good morning. Good news. I found my comb. At last. This is Linyanti. Now we're not far, 15 minutes, not even that, out of the town of Kasane, far, far top eastern part of Botswana. And this area services the Chobe National Park to the west and large farming communities to its south. This is Linyanti. This is voted probably the best camping place in Kasane, but that's not altogether good. And that is because it's very popular. It's very popular because, well, to start with, that's the bar, little restaurant. They just serve pizzas, nothing else. And the animals come down, buffalo, elephant. Last night we had about 15 total elephants come down, play in the moonlight. and it's camping fees. Normally, this kind of view, with the chance of such close encounters with animals from your lodge, is reserved for A-list customers paying thousands of dollars a day. And that's why this place is so fantastic, and it's why it's so popular. They even have a tunnel that goes under the bar, under the seating area, and ends right next to the waterhole. Today we are heading into Namibia, which means I need to prepare a few things on the Land Cruiser that could give me problems when crossing the border. We're now descending into the Chobe River Valley, and we're about to cross the Chobe River at the border post known as Ngoma Gate, and we are going to pass into Namibia. I have crossed this bridge 20, 30 times over the last 40 years, and never have I seen it remotely this dry. It's a bit depressing, actually. The Chobe River is a very important, part of the Zambezi river system. Look at that. That is... whoa, man. Normally, that looks like a lake, normally. Namibia is a very different country to Botswana. And when I mean different, everything about it is different. But what affects us as travellers is that Namibia, generally speaking, is fenced, with the exception of the area that we are driving through right now. Over the next few days we'll do a combination of campsites and hopefully some wild camping too. Namwe, a camping site on the banks of the Zambezi River. Nice to see water in the Zambezi River. They say that in Australia everything is out to kill you. That isn't. It is in Africa. I mean, they've got hippos here. They eat salty crocodiles for dinner and breakfast. Not really, but anyway. Quick shout out. Zippo firelighters. I really like them. Every time I stop, I take the opportunity to fiddle around and do something else to improve the way things operate out of the back of the troop carrier. I'm a long way from done, but today I'm going to do this little trick. So this is a clip for a torch, and I want to put it on the back here. So I take an ordinary clip, slide over some pieces of heat shrink and warm it up. This is why we don't do a cooking show. Turn it over.
No, we're not turning it over.
Well,
do you think they just saw that just then?
We are doing a sauce. It's a
blackened chicken sauce.
Jeremy's been slaving slaving away all day over it, and it's prepare a heat, oil, and fried chicken. No, that's not it. Well, anyway, we put it in this packet after he'd made it, after he'd been to the Woolworths store.
We're going to call this blackened chicken with sauce.
Need to talk to the camera.
Well, I have to tell you that we're going to call this blackened chicken with sauce. We're going to call this blackened chicken with sauce and pasta and Jägermeister later.
On the banks of the Zambezi River, time to do our data dump. I can't think of too many nicer places to do it. Oh, such a beautiful place. And the trip has been going really, really quite well. From this point, we're basically going to be crossing the width of Namibia. And it's going to take us from this lush greenness to the traditional burnt yellows and oranges of the deserts of Damaraland and the Namib Desert. An insane bird. It's called the Hugelin's robin. It starts with a nice tune and then it sounds like it's been chased by a hyena. Here I am waiting for the fish eagle to call, but instead, never mind. Here we have a symphony of sounds this morning. Okay, I'm going to do it anyway because I know you're not going to shut up. That is the Hugelin's robin. There are two of them, one in that tree, one in that tree. Fish eagle. Crested barbet. A second ago there was the African jacana across the river. Babblers, either arrow-marked or white-rumped babblers, they sound the same. Okay, we get it. And some distant, what sounded like an army camp and shouting and marching in the far, far distance. There you go, there's a jacana. Time for a story. The perfect time for the story. Oh, and a monkey. It would have been 1988. Gun and I were travelling and we arrived at Katima Malilu, where we are now. And here she is, trying to do a presentation to camera.
We are now at a camping site at Katima Malilu, and in the background we have the Zambezi River. As you can see, it's very, very fishy.
Alright, so we were camped next to the Zambezi, not exactly here but close. It was a time of great turmoil and war, the South African Bush War, and this was a bit of a hot spot. We drove in on the road that we're going to be travelling out today. At that time, there were convoys running to protect travellers on the road through Caprivi. Late night, black night, we're in bed, in the tent, and we hear that, but not one shot or two shots, but automatic rifle fire. She sits bolt upright. I grabbed her and I pulled her back. And she said, "No, not again, darling." She didn't say that. I said, "That's not something you do when you hear automatic rifle fire. You lie as flat as possible." And to that she said, "Oh, not again, darling." Most of that is true. Driving on a brand new piece of tarmac towards Linyanti. The area we are visiting now I regard as the last frontier when it comes to Namibian tourism. I first visited the area, this is the far eastern side of the Caprivi, which is the northern part of Namibia, in 1990. All of these roads, even the main arterial roads, were gravel.
We've just arrived at Linyanti, but there doesn't appear to be a place to cross. The track is supposed to wind its way in around these reeds. So we're going to have a walk and see if we can find the track.
And I think Namibia sees this as an opportunity, like they have done with Etosha, a highly developed, highly commercialized area full of wild animals. And it's sometimes difficult to get straight in one's head. These small villages through which I'm now driving, many do not have running water, many do not even have electricity. People, generally speaking, are very satisfied, happy, contented. The town of Sangwali. Now, when I first visited here in 1990, things were quite different. This was far smaller, and we didn't have a good map of the area. To reach our intended destination of Lupala Island, we have no choice but to cross the river.
What do you think?
I think there's a good chance that we've come to the wrong place, but we have to find the right place.
Makes me think that maybe we should go back to the village and find the post office and go in exactly the opposite direction to the post office. No, come on.
Then I noticed a man leading his cattle through the water. This should give us a good idea of how deep and how soft it might be. But we needed to cross the river to head onto what was then called Lupala Island.
Decided to go back to the main road to see if we can find another signpost to Sangwali, which we will then take, and hopefully that will lead us to the correct tracks.
A lot of the names of places have changed over the last 2 decades, but I'm going to go and try and find that same river crossing. I'm going to have to put in the wading clutch plug. I have to seal the bell housing because the water came up to that guy's shorts, which means it's about 2.5 feet, 2 feet deep, I suppose. So it's not too bad. The cows have just crossed that area, so I have no idea what the surface is like. The development has meant that river crossings like this. Good night. You can drive it through. I'll film. replaced with iron bridges.
When?
Right, white.
White.
Yeah.
See.
I had to find out if it was safe enough for us to cross. No choice but to walk it.
No crocodiles here.
Pardon?
No crocodiles here.
I don't know, but there are. Let's die together.
And it's meant that tourists can now access this once pristine area, but accessible.
Please don't die, either of you. Don't die, either of you. We met this chap along the road, and he was born in Sangwali. He's now the school teacher at another little town called Malingalinga, not far from here. And he's kindly offered to come and give us directions on how to get to Apala.
And that's why we are able to even be here. This then is the exact crossing point where, with our Land Rover 110 parked here, I contemplated the drive across.
And a piece of old tacky until the last bit.
What am I afraid? There. Just a try. Think of God that they will be able to cross.
We need to find a campsite. Livingstone's exclusive campsites. This place has developed so fast. I can barely recognize anything here. Jeremy is busy arguing with them about how to accept our money. Looks like a very nice campsite here. We went to Rapala. We preferred this because it's dry, overlooking the floodplains, very, very beautiful. We're not going to be able to camp here because we're not carrying Namibian dollars, only US dollars and credit cards. They don't accept anything but Namibian dollars cash. So they basically said, well, we can't stay here. So it's going to be the same everywhere here. So we have to leave the area. So pretty, isn't it? Yeah.
Hold back a bit. I want to get a shot of you through the dust. I'm going to just go past around this corner, and then I'll wave to you.
Campsite called Livingstone's Camp, but there is available tonight, but there's no water anywhere, so not a lot of game in this area. So we're going to go drive around. We're just going to look around to see if there's something nice for today, so we can actually get some viewing and some content. We have just stumbled upon the Quando River, which is amazing.
I actually think campsite 3 was a little better.
I think maybe so. I like the sun not being in our face all night.
Yeah.
And it's on a bank, which means we're not going to sit up here wondering if everything's coming into our camp all night. And there's 4 campsites available. The first 2 we just passed, which were both really rather nice.
It's a little closer. We can camp closer to the water there.
Yeah.
It's on a bank, but it's closer to the water.
There are 2 more 3Ks away, so we're halfway there. In the middle of, we don't know where. We're taking the risk that if we get there and they're taken, we have to rush back and claim. Our own space.
Yeah, and when it comes to my experience with animals in Africa, there are only 2 animals that actually scare me. They scare me in Africa, and I want to have nothing to do with them. I don't mind watching them. And the first are hippos, and the second is the black mamba. Big, angry, poisonous, pissed off snake.
Sunset is in about an hour and 20 minutes, and we want to have a camp set up, and obviously we want the light because the light's just about to get very nice, and we want on the water. We just passed a spot with waterbuck, hippos in the water right by the campsite, and it looks like we've got some sand to...
Yeah, stop. I might be stuck because I don't have low range.
I've picked up some bad habits. I was driving in 2-wheel drive. When I saw it, it was too late to put it in 4. So I went into it in 2. Oh, I didn't tell you. The low range doesn't work on the gearbox. I can't get it into low range. Otherwise I would be able to get out of this. I can tell you I could crawl out of it really slowly, No low range. I'll just destroy the clutch. So we're going to do a recovery.
I'll come back to that. Do I need to worry about this at the moment? Guess I should.
It's quite a sharp edge on the fitting on the.
You ready?
Are you in low first?
I am.
Had another almost recovery moment there, but I managed to get out.
With this sign, we're going to need to make a plan because there's a lot of options.
Wow, this is stunning.
Ready?
But Jeremy, it seems, is still not happy. He still thinks that we can do better than this. That's beautiful.
What do you think?
I think it's fantastic.
The sun's going to obviously go down directly.
I just hope I don't get stuck looking for it.
Number 3.
Our alternative. I'm not sure what we've got here. I'm a little bit puzzled.
So what?
There's nobody here. I mean, this is the best campsite we've had on the entire trip.
Yeah.
There's nobody here. There was no office to take our money. And yet, look at it. I'm not quite sure if we've missed something.
The gate that we went through where they didn't check, was that the actual gate for the campsites too?
Yeah, it's called a camp.
Come up?
No, he's not. Two things are going on here. Another hippo coming towards us. I don't know if this camera's going to be any good. It's the best low light camera we have, but can you see him there? There. So he's not coming up here.
No, sorry.
No. He could very easily just walk up there and come around the back.
Yeah, he could.
But torch have I got here? He could come around there. Whether he will or not, because there's nothing here luscious to eat.
There's no poop up here, so it means they haven't been up here.
Mm-hmm.
So he's out of the water now, right?
He's out of the water. He's completely out of the water now.
Okay.
Heard him pooping. They poo and they spray their dung on trees and branches and things. He's doing it over there right now. I don't want him to come around the back here. That's going to make me very uncomfortable. All right, you're going to see where Jeremy's gone. There's Jeremy there. Yeah. Yeah. Ah dear. What do we do for our adrenaline? Well, you will let me know if he comes around, eh? I actually think he might have gone back in. I think he came out not to feed, but to poo. You know, you heard it, you pointed it out when you heard it. Yeah. There's now a big hippo just in the water, and he's blowing bubbles, and I think it's the same guy. I think he came out to take a crap and has gone back in because he's blowing bubbles in the middle of the river. I think we're okay. Wild camping spots don't get a lot better than this. They just... Okay. As I was saying, wild camping spots don't get a lot better than this. But I always recommend that when people do this kind of touring in Africa, they break up the self-drive experience with lodge experience. Gives a chance to relax in a different atmosphere, have food brought to you, perhaps sleep in a more comfortable bed, do some laundry. But also the actual experience itself is different because you're going to be with other people, but they're probably going to be able to offer you some activities that you wouldn't have, you're not able to do on your own. Maybe you're not carrying a boat or an aeroplane or helicopter or hovercraft. I don't know. But we're going to find out by visiting a camp in the area that is located on this very river. That's for a little later today. Alright, I'm stuck. And it's not actually that thick. It's thick. I have no power at low RPM. Below 2000 RPM, the thing is dead. I've been noticing it when driving, just general driving, to pull away from a traffic light is just so laborious until the revs come up. And that is why even at 80 kilometers an hour I'm using so much fuel. I'm actually using a better economy at 100 and 110 than at 80, because at low RPM the engine is awful. Here I say it again and again and again. If you want to go off-road, you need two things in the vehicle. You need good clearance and you need low range gearing, and there is no escaping it. If you do not have low range gearing, you have what I have, quite an easy crossing, and I can't do it because I cannot put it in low range, because the gear for this engine at the moment for this is low third. 1 is too low, 2 is too high. I tried to do it in 2 and bogged. I cancelled part of our desert trip, which would require lots and lots of days and days of sand driving, because I don't have low range. I made the right call. You know, a lot of sand driving, yes, you do in high range, but when you have difficulty like we're having now, you need low range. There's no way around it.
2, 3, go.
Heavy duty or not?
What's that?
We've got to get this thing in a low range.
We have to.
We have to. I'm looking for firm ground.
Yeah.
Somewhere where we've got some firm ground. The thing is that the moment we try and pull off the track, the resistance is getting off the track.
And it gets much worse down there, so
here's our
best.
Now this is worse.
So what if we were to use...
This is no different.
The front's out. What if our max tracks were here?
We've got 8 max tracks.
We do.
Let's put max tracks and let me drive on the max tracks.
Just get them. Just
best
use them
idea.
To get out.
Best idea yet.
Okay.
I've got to get this car into low range.
Made a mess of it, but I got up here.
You got up there, but, I don't know.
I think it stops right there, but I think there might be a way. So the linkage arm can come like this. If I can pull this as you do that, I think I can pull it into low, because we got it into low 2 days ago. I just need some leverage, and I can't do it from underneath because there's no way to get to it. So what I can do is tie something on it and pull it from out here. I can literally pull it with a rope or a cable. Let me go see what I have, and then
the pull rope that we've just used to snatch that.
No, because I don't know that I can get that. I can't. It's so big, I can't get that around the linkage arm. But I think if I have a piece of paracord or any kind of rope, okay. I don't know what kit's in my. I don't know what kit's in this.
Kit's in my notes. This turns out to be a good teaching moment, really. Proof again that when using the wrong equipment, one wastes a lot of time. This is a Max Trax kinetic rope. Why I didn't get it out when we started this, I cannot tell you. And of course, we're going to put Max Trax behind the wheels. So we have a design issue here with the Gobi X. Guys, your holes aren't big enough for soft shackles. They're too small. They also have a hard edge on them. They're rounded things. So I cannot fit this. You're going to have to use your one, because your one just fits. Your lighter shackle, not ideal, not what I would like to do, but there's nothing we can do about it. This one just fits. And another example of why one needs to test all one's equipment with a new build. Oh dear, I need 2 people for this. I need 3 people for this. One to hold the camera, one to pull this, and one to untangle that.
Let me do this stuff.
You just need to untangle that for me. There you go. There's a twist in it. All right. Like liquid, this stuff. All because we wanted to go and see a lookout point. My watch bezel just came undone. I have just found it in the sand. No. I need to put this somewhere where I won't lose it. It's the bezel for my watch.
I'm going to have you go back in and try low 4 again.
So you're going to do it, pull it from like that?
I'm going to get low,
Yeah.
put my body weight into it.
Yeah.
I've got this hooked around the transfer case lever arm.
Yeah.
And I can pull that with my entire body weight now while you go into...
Which will pivot it like that.
Which will pivot it like that and go into low. We'll go back and forth and see if we can get it to work.
Alright, so you've just pulled it. You've just pulled it into...
No,
you've gone as far as it will go.
Okay.
So...
Okay, go back and go into high and then we're going to...
Hold on. I'm going to film this as well. Just give me a mo.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go! Did it go in?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, let's try that again. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, go!
Right, we've got a cargo strap looped around the low range lever underneath the gearbox, and Jeremy is trying to force it into gear. Meanwhile, I'm inside the cab, also trying to force it into gear. Hi.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3, go! No. I can feel it on the lever. I can feel you pulling on the lever, but it's not. It's hitting something hard.
Is there any way to make that spin? Because maybe it's just not lining up right.
1, 2, 3, go!
Okay, go back again.
Back.
I'm going to just give it a big old jerk. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, go! It's in low range.
Okay.
It's in low range.
You sure?
Yeah, it's in low. I felt it. I felt the second click. That is in low range now.
Okay. It's about 400 pounds I just put on that thing, so it should be in. I'm over the drive line, so I can pull this out if you're sure.
I am.
Just do a test to see if it engages, then I'm going to pull this out of the way.
I'm in low range.
Okay.
Low range and max tracks. And I should be able to reverse myself out.
It might be a mission because I think I better get the strap out.
Alright. You want me to shut it down?
No. It's alright.
Put your strap away. I'll put the spade away. There's the other one. Alright. You're going to pull off nice and evenly, slowly, low range first. You're going to give me a gentle tug, because by the time I come off that, you will be tight and moving at speed, which will get me over that bit. Hopefully. But I'll only move when I see that.
Tighten.
When I see that, in fact, I'm going to make sure I can see it in this mirror. When I see that straighten, I'm going to go.
Okay, it's a plan. Let's do it.
I'm going to put this camera on the ground here and then film it. Hopefully it will work. All right, like that.
Assuming.
You're around here somewhere. Sheep. Viva la Max Tracks.
Actually,
it's gone. How can it disappear?
Well, it has to be.
You found it?
Yep. That is some soft sand.
It is some soft sand, all right.
Whew.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, you can do that. You're welcome. I'll hold this heavy camera.
The amount of sheer force to get that gear selector into gear was incredible. I mean, without pulling that down and putting a bar on it, there's no way. This one's yours and this one's this one, right?
No, they're both yours. I'd have to open the back too. Before I do, I need water. I feel faint. Join us for the next episode as we try some luxury camping just a couple of kilometres down the track at a place called Quando River Lodge. And if you would like to fast forward and watch the entire series, you can download it right now. The link is in the description. The fact is that actually we should have got the Maxtrax out first, Actually getting into low range was the key here, but we actually should have just pulled the Maxtrax out without anything else. Well, that little dance was because we were going to a viewing spot. And, well, you can tell me if it was worth all the trouble or not. Because this is not the viewing spot we were trying to reach. This is actually a campsite that we considered last night. We did not get to the viewing spot. Couldn't have been better than this. Nearing Camp Quando, where we intend to enjoy some good food and some luxury.
Big, beautiful baobab here.
I always say it's a good idea to break up self-drive in southern Africa with some of this luxury. A change of pace. In our case, far better food. For me especially, a much more comfortable bed, getting some laundry done. But for me, change of pace. Jeremy. And you thought I didn't own one. Eh? Pretty cool, eh? There are quite a few other guests at the lodge. They're all German. We shall see how it goes. Morning. Morning.
Morning.
What I found out?
No.
I found out that all of the guests here, they're all German, and they all have the same name. They're all called Morgan. They all look at me like this when I walk past. I wonder why. Maybe because we're self-drivers. We're in a lower class because we didn't come here by shuttle bus and Cessna Caravan. Not sure.
You're getting all the wide angle. It's a nice shot of that, eh?
I am. We're going to start our activities today by taking out a boat ride to go and photograph some birds and animals.
We love birds. Any bird you can point out, we'll take a picture. Yes. Oh, nice Jacana.
It's activities like this that if you're self-driving, it's a challenge. You can't exactly well, I suppose you could put a boat on your roof rack. But if you're only using it once or twice, well, that becomes a problem. Checking into a luxury lodge with activities, hey, it means you get this, and that's worth the lovely hot shower.
Was the jacanas together with the brake crack.
Stork?
Yeah, open build.
Open build, yep.
Blocking our path are hippos. Lots and lots of angry, grumpy hippos.
That's a good context shot. Land on that log, one at a time so we can take pictures. Cormorant, Kukal, Chakana, everybody needs to come land on that log. It's a beautiful log.
It's a little known fact that hippos can't swim. What they do very, very well is sink, which means when you see hippos like this, they are actually walking on the bottom.
Wow. Look at how fast they go in the water. It's unbelievable.
The speed in which they can move through the water.
It's all the things out of a nightmare. Is that everybody? Nope, they're just gonna relax. They're digesting last night's dinner.
So this morning we say farewell to Camp Quando. We say farewell to really comfortable beds. We say farewell to lovely staff and boat rides and things. But the most thing that I regret saying goodbye to is the food. Now, camp food, generally speaking, is quite good. The standard is quite high. That's not the case here. This is a 5-star cuisine. The evening meals, both of them, have not just been good, they have been exceptional. So the staff here at Quando, thank you so much for your hospitality. And for those 2 evening meals, man, I will talk about them, probably bore the hell out of everybody that wants to listen to me. Really, wow, they were really something. We are in Kongola, heading west to Etosha and stopping up at a surprisingly large grocery store here. We're about to get on the road again. Just to let you know, this piece here, which is about 3.5 hours, is the most boring, dull, uninteresting, dead straight road in all of the region. I hope you've got a good audio book.
Was to guide down the capture pod and secure a landing area for the remaining members of 2nd Platoon. Would be following.
I do, and I also know a guy like that.
Well, it's a long, straight, dull road, a piney bush everywhere, nothing much to do. Kaiasosi Lodge on the Kunene River is our destination for the day. A couple of kilometers along this track. We've been in the car for most of the day. It's been pleasant, if a little dull, day's drive. And we end the day with an equally dull campsite. It ticks all of the important boxes, but none of the boxes that you want to tell anybody about. But hey, just a stopover, Tomorrow things actually get really interesting because we are visiting Etosha in order to take photographs of the magnificent elephants of Etosha. I have been once before, and in my mind are those magnificent, huge elephants.
It's 2 o'clock. I mean, this is what this is.
Still got to go do. That's probably 100. That's probably 100. We're talking 200, 250.
I think we should do it to the camp and just do the tar road.
Yeah.
Because we're making 110 Ks basically an hour.
Yeah.
So there's two and some change, maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That puts us at 5, basically 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for exciting things, but
We haven't got the time.
I don't think it's exciting. I mean, however, there is a baobab tree listed here, but I don't think a tree is worth 3 extra driving hours.
We're on the final part of our 2-day drive to Etosha National Park. Etosha is Namibia's premier game and animal spotting reserve. It really is something unique. And some of the bugs that have hit the windscreen today have only been slightly smaller than light aircraft. First night we will be camping. The second night we've actually taken a bit of a treat actually. A chalet in one of their luxury lodges just for one night, mainly to get access to a marvellous water hole. And then our third night in Etosha will be on the western side, again camping.
Trying to find fuel.
Turn right to the shell. Right.
And the main gas station in Rundu, coming into Rundu, has just said that there is no diesel left. So maybe the Shell has diesel. We're hoping the Shell has diesel. Looks promising. Maybe. Let's see what these guys tell us. This is just west of Grootfontein in Namibia, and it's the first mountains that I've seen since we've been in Africa. Mountains would be probably an overstatement, but the vegetation has changed. The hills are here, and the infrastructure makes the whole place look completely different. There's kind of standard telephone poles with power lines. The roads are lined and somewhat maintained with stripes on the sides. Obviously, very much a different set of standards for this part of the country.
Well, we're finally here. This is our campsite. Ablution blocks. This is the Ongoma Tambuti campsite. The idea of Ongoma is that it is another nature reserve abutting the giant Etosha National Park. And what that means is that you get really nice facilities, beautiful campsites, lots of choices of campsite. And if you really fancy it, you can go up and swim in the pool and even have a meal at their restaurant. But being so close to Etosha, you get to enjoy this private game reserve, and you're 3 minutes drive away from the entrance to Etosha Park itself. So our adventure at Etosha starts here.
If the landscape changing when we were driving in is any indicator, the landscape's completely changed now.
Completely.
And the country of Namibia has changed because there's fences on the roads and there's infrastructure that we haven't seen in this entire trip. Even in the Caprivi and eastern parts of Namibia above Botswana, on the Angola and Zambia border, it looks nothing like it does here. It's like a whole different country. It's almost like Namibia didn't start until you get out of the Caprivi, and then it looks like kind of this. And then we're driving, and it feels very, I don't know what I should say, the Western, I guess. I mean, it feels like normal. You're driving down roads with telephone poles, and it's not like
it's developed.
It's developed. And then you've got proper farming, and it just looks like the place is, it doesn't look like anything in the US, but it's all changed. And then coming into the park, coming into the gate of the park, and even these campsites and stuff, it's just the whole feel is different. It's developed. I guess that's the word. It's developed, which isn't sad. I don't think it's sad. I think I'm excited about it because I mean, it's developed because this is where things are at. And you don't, unlike where we've been though, where you just kind of drive into things and everything's already there. I mean, you're driving through animals to get to a thing. Here, I feel like you're going through everything, and then when you get there, it's almost like it's behind something. You're about to go in. It feels like you're about to go into a park, which I know we are. We're literally about to go into Etosha.
That's exactly what it is.
Which is more like what you'd be used to in the US, where I'm from, and it's just...
What you're saying really is it's not like Botswana.
It's not like Botswana. I guess that's what I'm saying is it is not like Botswana. Yeah.
Or even tonight, as we have a meal at their restaurant overlooking their waterhole. We are actually waiting for our breakfast, but the beauty of this breakfast is that the wall decoration is a waterhole, and what will arrive at the waterhole is a mystery to me and a mystery to you, because it could be lion, it could be elephant, it could be anything. Oh, that's a horse. The idea of Okonjima is simple. You get 5-star, potentially game viewing experiences, but it's camping rates. It's like Linyanti and Kasani. Same idea. And I'm seeing more and more of it, and I absolutely love the idea. Many of you will be familiar with Max Jacks. Well, this is the olden version, old-fashioned Max Jacks. They're called PSP, perforated steel plates. They were developed during the Second World War. They, when used, get murderously hot and bend. So then, once they're used, need quite a bit of work to get them back onto their mounting points. This mounting point is quite sensible because it will allow a bent and distorted plates to be reasonably easily attached to the side of the vehicle.
I'll tell you, in this landscape, your Land Cruiser is really photogenic. I think every color out here, that's the color that Safari Drive should make all their vehicles. So we've just entered Etosha. So we'll see if we see any critters. In the meantime, we may have some stuff on the road other than impala, which are everywhere. They're like having our black-tailed deer at home, but the impala are they're beautiful, and they're kind of everywhere. So
we're heading to various waterholes as we head from the eastern side all the way to the furthest western side of the park over the next 3 days.
We've got some zebra on the side of the road, looking very handsome.
And it really isn't a long wait until we reach some waterholes and their animals. But the dynamics and interplay between the animals around the waterhole is really interesting to watch. An interesting thing happening here. All of the zebra, or most of them, are looking in the same direction. There's the waterhole, and most of the impala are also looking in the same direction, off to the right. Which means that off to the right somewhere there are predators hidden in the bush. I can't see them. They might not be able to see them, but they know that they're there. There it is. There's a lion. There's a lion off to the right. Can you see it? There's a lion there.
You said what? A lion?
Yes. Now that the lion has moved, the impala have become a little bit more relaxed. It's their way of saying, lion, we've seen you. You're not going to have the opportunity to chase us and catch us by surprise.
No, I did not see it.
And for the first time since I've been sitting here, the zebra have now the courage to move to the waterhole and to drink. I find myself actually wanting to just get on the back roads, not see animals necessarily, just to get away from the traffic, which is mostly French tourists in rental pickups thinking that these roads around Etosha actually a track of Le Mans. The road has become an absolute torture test. No maintenance on the roads inside the Etosha Pan at all, and it really just actually quite unpleasant. Very little game. Disappointment. I'm disappointed in Etosha, actually. They don't maintain the roads. I mean, I don't mind some corrugations and things. That's the last thing that worries me. 6 hours of them worries me, particularly if I'm having to fight with other traffic. I'll put up with roads like this for days, but not if I have to deal with other cars as well. Then it's just not worth it. Etosha continues to disappoint. So we booked a chalet, inexpensive, yes, one of the basic chalets at Kokokehiu, and what we got was, well, firstly, there's no path to the room. You have to walk on stones, and or in front of everybody else's front door. And then what you get for not a little bit of money, this reminds me of a Hotel 6 in North America. It's basically a cave without a view. I would far rather camp than do this. So what we've done instead is we'll make our own little campsite here. Sit down, there's a nice view, and well, there's a view, not very nice. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave everything in the car as if we're camping. But instead of climbing up to get into bed, get into bed. Yeah. I'm not going to take any of my clothes, nothing. I might have a shower, just grab a couple of clothes here, as if that's an ablution block. What do you think of that?
I think I might just sleep in my roof tent tonight. Because all my stuff's already set up, and it's very comfortable, and I love it.
It's so ridiculous.
I'll just use I'll just use the shower in there in the morning.
You know, as awful as this is, we'll always have Quando.
We always have Quando. Oh, Quando.
Quando.
Oh, listen, the price, the strength of the indomitable Australian dollar, and the let me just leave the negativity out of it and say the U.S. currency. The strength that they are means that coming to Namibia is in our favor.
Absolutely.
Would you agree? Okay. So much so that I would even err on the side of saying it is a very, very good place to come for both Aussies and U.S. people, because we get a lot of bang for the buck here. We really do.
This is not typical.
No,
it's
but
not.
What I'm saying is,
it really isn't.
For all the money that we save, I don't know if save is the right word when you're traveling and you're spending money, but the money that it doesn't cost us to travel in this country, which is an amazing value for money. It really, really is.
Yeah.
When you look at what it costs for this place, which in Namibian dollars is ridiculous, it's still less money than it would cost for something equally as bad in either one of our countries.
True.
You had to process that for a minute, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. So,
I did,
something
true.
this bad would cost more in your country or mine.
True.
It is. We are actually getting a poor experience for less money, which is good.
I first came to the Etosha National Park in 2012 to make my TV series, and it was an altogether wonderful experience. So it has a lot to live up to. Okokoyo is on the western portion of the Great Pan within the Etosha National Park. The waterhole at the edge of the camp means that the game comes to you. We stayed just one night, and from the camp and its immediate surroundings we saw zebra, wildebeest, jackal, springbok, gemsbok, ostrich, lion and of course rhino. And this list does not include the animals I didn't photograph. Etosha measures 22,912 square kilometers, making it one of the largest national parks in Africa, with the Etosha Pan itself covering 4,730 square kilometers, about 21% of the park area. Proclaimed in 1907, it officially became a national park in 1963.
I rarely go into APS-C mode, but I have to because I got 900 mils on him now.
What are you looking?
Oh, it's a rhino. Rhino about a K away.
Okakuyu is a huge camp with hundreds of beds, ranging from camping sites to small caves to, I mean, these are the most expensive chalets in the shop. These are the beautiful, I mean, I've stayed in them before. 2012 I stayed in one of these. These are the chalets that overlook the waterhole. You don't get a lot of privacy because they're so close to the waterhole, but you do get one hell of a view. As you can see, dustbins in this part of the world always hunt in packs. I've just taken a rather nice picture of a tree. Now this area is called Ghost Tree Forest. What we have here is the Ghost Tree Forest, 6 kilometre detour from the main road. What it is, it's a tree. So I can do a shade here. What side is your shade on?
Either one.
Either one. Okay, even better. We have made it to Olifantsrus campsite. This is a fairly new camping spot. I've never been to this part of Etosha before, on the far western part of the Etosha National Park.
I think it's fine. We can put our chairs there for now, chase the shadow.
Yeah. Olifantsrus campsite. The newest campsite in Etosha. The best part about this place is it's camping only. No tour buses, no crowds. That I think is going to be perfect. And there's a hide, there's a water hole. It's actually quite nice here. I actually quite like it. Now we are near the, again in Etosha. It's a strange thing about Etosha. The not seen it before. The rubbish bins hunt in quite large packs. They're normally in pairs or sometimes solitary things. But when I was last here in 2012, this section of the Etosha National Park was closed to tourists altogether. Quite hot. And I have a feeling that perhaps Etosha might redeem itself. Olifantsrus has a rather splendid elevated hide. to you. This is my view this morning. Doesn't get much better than that. I have nothing to say. Maybe you're relieved. Last night there was a symphony of stars cut to photograph. Cool, eh? Olifants Rus, Elephant's Rest, is my favourite part of Etosha. The staff by far are the friendliest. No contest. It's not full of tour buses, and it's got a nice vibe to it.
It does.
It's just nice, as opposed to commercial people.
And very quiet.
Oh, it's lovely, really nice. Come here. As opposed to, if you're going to go to Etosha, come in, do this bit, leave. that's what I would say about Etosha. Our last water hole at Etosha before we leave the park. This is a particularly beautiful one. Red hartebeest, zebra. I see an elephant coming towards the water hole over there. Just had a visit from some oryx and warthogs as well. The secret is always to just park, turn off your engine and wait. And the rewards come. Thing we just witnessed, that young bull elephant is as grumpy as they come. He first tried to chase away the vulture from the waterhole, and now he wants to chase away all the animals from the waterhole. This reaffirms my feelings towards Etosha. Come here. Forget about the rest. Everything about it is better. After a magnificent morning at the waterhole, we have spent most of the rest of the day covering several hundred kilometres of gravel to arrive at tonight's destination, Lodge de Moraland. Well, we stopped for breakfast and that tower is obviously going down. Luxury and comfort, eh? Not so fast. So I'll get the...
I've got a compressor here.
You got a compressor? I'll get breakfast.
But it's leaking pretty fast. I think we should roll forward so we can see it on the top, because it's right at the bottom. It's right by the dirt.
Alright, the camera is rolling.
A little more. Stop. Rock. Right there. In between the tread.
Yeah. There it is.
We have a couple options.
There it is.
It wouldn't be that hard to do the quick plug.
Do you think you could get that rock out?
Yes.
Enough space. There is enough space.
There is enough space.
Alright. You take out the thorn and I'll get the plug.
Okay.
Do you need a pair of pliers?
I have some pliers. I have some pliers. Yep, I've got some. There we go. Okay, I think the rock is now clear, I believe. How many twists do we do?
I do it 90 degrees. I turn it 90 degrees and I pull.
That's it.
This should work. Thank you. Right, we've arrived. This might look like an off-road track, but it is in fact the driveway to a luxury lodge where we can be comfy. I have been on the road for over 3 weeks now, so I deserve this. So don't judge me. You're judging me. View is nice. Will get better as the sun sets. The trouble is, of course, it's only one night, so it's really not going to help much. Fact is that I am pretty tired. I am hoping that the food will be better because I'm doing most of the cooking, which means not difficult making the food better. Judging me, I can tell. The owners of Lodge de Mariland asked me to take a night photograph of their lodge, something that they didn't have. So I did.
Don't judge.
I actually wish we could spend a little more time at Lodge de Mariland. They offer day drives and trips to see the desert elephants, and also a trip to Twyfelfontein, a World Heritage Site containing over 1,000 petroglyphs. I think that's what they're called. They're commonly known as rock art, ancient rock art, superbly preserved. But we're heading south. We're heading towards Luderitz, the coast, and what I consider the third chapter in our visit to Namibia. I feel a sense of nostalgia coming on. It's a big moment for me, this. 40 years ago this year, I took my very first expedition in my own vehicle, and it was very close to this spot I'm standing now that I shot my very first piece of footage. And of course it was my Range Rover cresting a dusty hill. Following that, I thought, well, I need to get some more footage, and I drove the Range Rover off the road and got it horribly stuck. That was in 1984, right here. Well, not right here, but very close to this very spot. These roads take a toll on the vehicle. Jeremy's just called and said he's lost his back tire. I see he hasn't picked a nice shade tree like I did. Oh. Bridgestone Dueler AT, the exact tyre that I had on my solo trip in 2008, and my solo trip through the Kalahari failed because it did that. Supposed to be all-terrain. What could have done that? The worst tyres for overlanders in the world. Well, if you're going to carry tyres like that, you better carry 2 spares. In my early days of overlanding, tyre failures like this were commonplace. Typically, I would have 2 or 3 punctures and destroy at least 1, if not 2, tyres. Oh, and speaking of tyres, I had 3 blowouts like this. This was the first, the cause of which was never conclusively reached.
That's not good.
It doesn't feel right, does it?
No.
It does not feel right.
Well, it's going to go. It's just going to take a minute.
The corrugations, high temperatures and heavy loads used to tear apart the tyres on my Range Rover. On occasion I would carry 2 spares. But today's tyres are far stronger, far more resilient, far more puncture resistant. Well, I would say they are, but not all of them are. And these ones are clearly not. But just then, a nice man arrived, obviously a local, and offered to lend us a hand.
How are you, man? Good, good. Just another day.
Do you have something to put under?
Yeah.
Okay, loose it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it under. Yeah. Yeah, it gives me in my entire life. You and I were just talking about helping people on the side of the road too.
Yeah.
But in my entire life, it didn't ever. I guess it should occur to me. But you kind of just we're out of the park and we're just driving around, and you feel like, well, I mean, we're just on a road. We're in Namibia. There's fences and gates and it's game reserves. Part of his job, he says, literally, he has to stop if there's a car broken down, because if the car is left or if they're there, the elephant will come and damage the car. So I'm not from a place where an elephant is going to damage your car if you don't help somebody fix their tire. But it's his job. He said, I asked him, he's on the way to work. He said, yeah, I'm on my way to work. But my job is to stop. I have to stop, because if I don't stop, the elephants will attack. And if the elephants attack, people get mad. And then my entire job is to help people and elephants get along. And what's the name of the organization?
ERA.
EHARA, Elephant Human Relations Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. His job, literally his job is to help people on the road on the way to work, if he can. How cool is that?
A lot of traffic on this road. A lot of traffic. There you go, overtake. There you go, there it is. Great.
That's the French couple, I think.
Fantastic, that's the French couple.
I think it is the French couple, that's their car.
This road is bad.
That is rough.
So why you don't driving so fast? You know the road is not good.
Yeah. That guy was moving. Oh, well, thank you, my friend.
You're good, my friend.
So helpful.
Yeah.
Put this.
That was pretty cool.
Hey?
A nice guy.
Yeah,
generous.
What spirit. A cool
generous spirit that is, really is. So maybe all of the funding that used to go to maintaining the roads and supporting the tourist infrastructure is now being spent on ministers' fact-finding trips to the Seychelles and things like that. But it makes that when planning your trip through Namibia, you have to add considerable time to the destination. It's amazing, and it's depressing on how bad it's become.
I'm driving from Quando and the Lodge to Moorland area. We're headed to Walvis on the C39, and the road is rubbish, and we've just come from repairing a completely blown out right rear back tire. The duration it went from inflated to completely destroyed, probably about 6 seconds. It didn't just lose pressure, it shredded itself.
I'm just pulling up here. I noticed a chap with a young child standing at the side of the road holding an empty water bottle. Want water? Please, come.
And perhaps a little support, maybe. Yeah. I'm ready, Mama. Hari.
Come on.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Ari amai. Ue maske amai. Laudimire amai.
It'll be okay.
Laudimire. She was a bit afraid. She thought, no, he's not going without me.
It's good to drink.
Yeah. Anything to eat is also good, master.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. All right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you. Mama.
About 100 k's of gravel still to go. And it's getting worse. Whoa. Now we're on a detour. Recommended 40 kilometer hour detour. Where everybody does 90. At last we've hit the tar road. We are about 60 kilometres north of a place called Henchies Bay, and we will follow the coastal road down to Walvis Bay. And you can see the dramatic change that has occurred during our drive this morning, which is total less than 4 hours. Everything has changed in every possible way. But we are close to the town of Henchies Bay. Back in some civilization. Time for a lunch toasty and a coffee. Are you, like me, tired of driving rough gravel?
I am. That was 8 hours of driving in 4 hours, or whatever it was.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. That was a mission, and terrible driving too. You know what that's like? That's like driving in snow for a day, where everything you do is important. You can't take your eyes off the road. Everything you do is, as soon as you get comfortable, something's going to go wrong. You can't see anything. Yeah, it's tricky. We're on a tar road, headed southwest. We're about to hit the ocean, actually. Even though it looks extremely bleak where we're at now, it's desert in every direction. But in front of us is fog and a marine layer and more clouds than I've seen the entire time I've been here. So we're about to hit what is the South Atlantic Ocean, which is extremely cold. And it creates a massive, obviously, temperature fluctuation, but it creates fog.
We have come here to Walvis Bay for that reason there. The flamingos and the pelicans of the area are famous, and we want to get some photographs of them. We are at a B&B on the foreshore in Walvis Bay. This is the second largest city stroke town in Namibia, fishing port and industrial area, and windy as anything, but also home to thousands of flamingos and pelicans, and we believe very good seafood. With most of the really rough gravel roads behind us, time to sort out some tyres and check over the vehicles. I've taken my back left and put it on my wheel carrier, and my spare fitted.
We're about 60 k's from Solitaire on, I think it's called the C14 highway, and this is our view.
We're on our way to a place called Mirab, campsite in the Namibia National Park. Very beautiful national park. But we've had to endure yet again an afternoon of hideous corrugations. Right, we're off to Mirab. That's where we're going now. In the far, far distance are a group of rocks, and I bet that's Mirab. We're going to be doing some night photography, but if ever there was big sky country, well, this is it.
This would make some really nice night photography here, potentially.
I think so. I just want to go and see if I can. I mean, the tent, campsite in the foreground with the rocks above it, with the stars. It's not very flat though. This is the trouble. It's not very flat. But it's so spectacular. We're going to live with it. Very nice rock photography. It's a full wide-angle lens here. Of course, it's important that at my early morning I open up the window and check out the sunrise. Or am I straight? I'm not straight.
Yep, I like it.
Alrighty. Yes, actually, I think that's about right. Right, cool. Almost time for a cold beer. Here we are, and this is our stage. We have to play with tonight. Foreground, middle ground, background.
You get the fire starters.
We need fire.
We need fire. Fire's going to be our light, and we need the coals to go down.
Just a glowing.
Just to glow. And I'll get the wood.
Okay. You see the animal?
It's an ostrich right there.
No, it's not an ostrich.
What?
It's not an ostrich. It's not an ostrich. It is a brown hyena. It's walking away. Very lucky to see that.
Holy, did you get it?
Yeah, got it. But with a 35mm, so you can't. It's not very big in frame, but it's.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it's a brown hyena. Very solitary animals. Lucky to see that. And I just saw it because I was looking through the viewfinder.
I just turned around and saw a thing that looked like a walking mop, and it was just a black thing.
It is a walking mop. with teeth.
He's still there.
Oh, good morning. Quite a warm night. Beautiful gentle breeze. I slept with my window all the way open because there are no nighttime insects at all. None. However, the night was spoiled, actually is the word, because of that thing, that big square box over there is in fact one of the most disgusting long drop toilets I've ever had the misfortune of seeing. It has no quicklime to spread on it, not even a lid. It is in fact an enormous pile of steaming poo. And a few times the wind changed during the night and I got a whiff of it. And it was very, very unpleasant. During the daytime hours, there are lots and lots of flies. And that's why.
You're just going to keep following where you're going to go, aren't you? You're just going to keep following where you're going to go.
So that's what happens when wild animals are fed. The animal becomes very familiar, becomes tame, relies on the food, and then doesn't learn how to hunt properly. It changes the imbalance, and very, very often animals that are fed become a nuisance because they demand food and they start breaking into cars. And then tourists start complaining, oh, the animal broke into my car and stole my chips. And this is why there are signs even here, and we didn't expect to see a lot of wildlife. We've actually seen quite a bit. That's bad news, because that little guy, because people, oh, it's cute, feed it, very likely will become such a menace that they will have to come and put it down. See, made no difference, did it?
No.
So, I wasn't asking you, I was asking these nice people. Let's have a look at some of last night's photograph with a camera that is actually horizontal. I'm a little disappointed in some of them, really, because it was quite dusty. What you want is a dust-free environment where you get only the starlight against a very dark, deep sky. High contrast. We didn't get that last night. Then the clouds come over, but it didn't give us that vivid contrast that star photographers really love. A small town on our way to the coast called Aus, and Jeremy has discovered a problem with his tyre. So, Aus it must go. God, that's bad. That's so bad. Third tyre failure with the Livingstone Dueler 80s. This one here has a huge bulge on the sidewall. Where's the bulge? There's the bulge there. There's the bulge there. So that bulge, it means that that sidewall has started to collapse. Look like
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I also want to be there.
I'm going to be on it.
Yeah, I want to be there on the YouTube channel. I am from Aus, Namibia, working here for 6 years now. I have experience in this, fixing tires.
Good.
Fantastic.
I wonder if we should put the other one on while we're doing this.
The other broken one.
The one that has a plug in it.
Driving west, chasing the sun through a sandstorm, we head again to the cold Atlantic at Luderitz. We're on our way to Luderitz. Luderitz is a very remote town. There is only one road that leads to and from the town, 110 kilometers long from Aus to the coast. It has great historical significance, and of all of Namibia's roads, the most interesting. As you approach Luderitz, on the left-hand side is the Sperrgebied, the forbidden area, and to the right, the magnificent Nauklift park. But the Sperrgebied is what makes Luderitz so interesting. It is the forbidden area. Even today, it is said that there are sufficient diamonds lying on the surface of the ground right now to utterly destroy the world, global market for diamonds, because they are so plentiful. And on the road, the ghost town, a once thriving diamond mining community called Kolmanskop. We will return tomorrow to photograph it. Goodbye, nice sunset. Photographed by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of keen photographers, Kolmanskop has become a bit of a cliché. How do you photograph something that's been photographed so much differently? You be the judge if either of us succeeded in doing something fresh and interesting. These pictures are from Grasplatz, the abandoned railway station where I spoke about the diamond industry in the area. This one I really rather like in my collection. I used a low shutter speed to get movement in the grass. And as far as Kolmanskop is concerned, these are my favourite pictures. And Jeremy's, well, it seems his pictures of me were his favourites. In Luderitz. The expedition has stalled a little bit because I've fallen ill from the old Montezuma's revenge. The sluices are both opened up at both ends, and so I'm under the weather. I'm going to take a couple of days and just chill and try and get over it. But of course, it always happens on these trips, isn't it strange, that if something like this happens and I need some help, it is always on a Sunday. Never during the middle of the week. So I can't. Luderitz doesn't even have an outpatient in its local hospital, and all the pharmacies are shut. So I can't get a remedy. The little bit that I was carrying, I've used it up. So well, there you go. I don't know why I needed to tell you that, but I've come down here to get some fresh air and to look at that very big ship. I like ships. Well, Jeremy has gone out on a boat, which wouldn't have been good for me right now, to take some more pictures. And they're all really nice. The other part is 7 weeks away from home. I am missing home. I feel like wrapping it up now. Kind of comfortable with the idea that it's coming to an end. We will conclude it though with a visit to a place called Giant's Playground, where we will photograph some rather extraordinary trees. I was thinking that too. Thinking that too, because it was kind of picturesque, that little place.
It was, yeah. I think that's going to be a nice pickup.
Yeah. We're just talking about the story. We dropped off some laundry this morning. We couldn't find the place, and then a very nice lady came along and said, "Well, I'm not doing anything today. Can I do your laundry for you?" I said, "Yeah." Gave her. We'll catch up with that when we go and fetch it. We'll roll camera and just show you.
We'll introduce you to Wendy. It's time to go see Wendy. I think it'll make her day. She was really excited about being here.
She was excited about actually having something to do today.
Yeah. She got a nice little place too, in that little village. Hello. This is Andrew, my friend.
Hello.
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 Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for your invitation to your
mother.
home. Hello, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, yes. And you know, I'm Wendy. Have a seat.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
There's just one problem, Jeremy. It's just this mark that I cannot.
It's okay. It's okay. They're just undershirts. It's okay. Yeah, I know you can get it out.
I then explained to Wendy why I was pointing a camera at her.
Me looking like this.
It's okay. Look at me. I'm looking like this.
No.
It's too late now.
Excuse me?
It's too late. I'm already filming.
Are you? Am I?
I'm afraid so.
And I was talking to. And oh yeah, my mother always say, if you do a job, you do a job properly.
So then why haven't you done it properly? No, I'm kidding.
But I did! Oh,
She
come
did.
on!
Look at what she did. Did she tell you how she found us this morning? You told the story? Yeah. We were looking for, Google Maps said there was somebody right here that does laundry. Google Maps. And then Wendy tells us, no, there's a, Google, it's over here, this yellow building has laundry.
Yeah, the laundry.
I'm not sure if they are still running. I'm not sure.
So we're like, what are we going to do? We got to find laundry because I'll just do it. It's even better.
You guys were God sent this morning, really, really.
Oh,
and
good.
I really do appreciate that you decided to let me do this.
No, thank you. We would be running around naked Luderitz and it would be really embarrassing if we didn't stop and have you do the laundry.
And what about the crayfish? All the fish out of the sea because you guys naked?
I know, that's the least that would happen. Yeah. We would have shut down an entire industry, us running around.
With all the fish still in the sea, and as far as we could see, we headed for the Giant's Playground and the Kokoboom forests. We are camped tonight at the Quiver Tree Forest, close to Giant's Playground, for some photography of these magnificent plants. They're called Kokoboom. Some of them there, but it's one of the best examples in all of the subcontinent of this particular indigenous tree. The quiver trees are almost cliched, the images of them on the internet. How do you photograph them with a new flavour, a new taste, so they're not cliched? And that is our goal for today, tonight and tomorrow morning. How then does one take a photograph of a kokoboom that is unusual? They are very beautiful trees, as you can see. And I, like most photographers here, strolled around in beautiful light, pointing my camera this way and that. They're nice trees, but there's nothing special about the photographs. Until I decided to sit down and wait until the sun cleared itself from the clouds that were touching the horizon, hoping that there would be a moment when it would shine through the gap. And it did, and this is one of my favourite pictures of the entire trip. And these then are Jeremy's infrared images. Well, good morning. This is the very last time that I will be waking in what has become a favourite bed. I've really enjoyed it. This morning's view outside is, well, a bit boring actually. People around. Camped a little town called Marienthal in Namibia on our way up to Windhoek, and really it's I have nothing more to say about this, and that means our series has come to an end. It's a wrap. See you next one. So as I shut down the engine for the last time, we've done 7,909 kilometres, and our total odo 508,756.